Greetings. This is Dr. Carlson, and this is a discussion of search engine optimization. So what is search engine optimization? It's the practice of optimizing your website to achieve the highest possible rankings on search engine results pages. So why would this be important to digital marketers? Look at it from this perspective. You make it easier for your prospective customers to find you. Now, you may have seen another term called SEM. And what's the difference between SEM and SEO? Well, from the SEO perspective, by how you describe your site within the use of metadata, helps the search engines identify your site as meeting some search criteria. And it's, quote, free. In other words, you're not paying for that capability. However, it goes hand in hand with search engine marketing, where you're advertising what you're offering and giving enticements to prospective customers to come and visit your site. And we're using keywords and metadata as part of that process of making that connection between your ad and your site. So they go hand in hand. You do not exclude one to the use of other. So in this lesson, we're going to focus on some information about how search engines work, how you can be more effective in your keyword strategy, and how you can get more visibility through link building. We'll also address some specialized search issues, such as using mobile, social, or local search and how they can affect your rankings. And last but not least, we'll tie this idea of SEO and SEM together as how it fits in the context of an overall digital marketing plan. So what creates this search database? Whether it's the Google search database, the Bing search database, or the Yahoo search database. All of them are databases that have been built using software that's proprietary to the search engine provider, where they look at all of the websites that are out there, and effectively they call it crawling the website, to collect information about each site and each page. So what we're collecting is called metadata, and we store that compressed information about your site in this database, and we align that database to be used whenever a search term is entered to find those that are most relevant. So how does that process work? They look at the intent or apparent intent of your search, particularly if it's more than one word. And are those search items included in a site? And how many times in different sites are they included? And how do they tie to the title and all of the other content? Now, there is also some spreading out of what's quality and what is spam, and trying to separate that, and out of that process giving page ranks. So those that rank highest will be on the first page results. We call that the search engine's results page. And most of the clicks occur in the first few items that are served up in that first page result. What are we using behind the scenes to make this happen? It's called metadata. And metadata is data about other data. So your website metadata consists of a page title and a meta description for every page on your site. And it provides search engines like Google important information about the content and purpose of each of those individual pages on your website. And it helps determine whether your website is relevant enough to display in search results. A page title. This is the single most important element on the page for telling the search engines what the page is all about and which keywords to focus on. The meta description is a further extension of that. Will be shown alongside your page title when your website page is shared on a search page. So let's take a look at what organic search results look like. we're going to see two examples. First is a desktop example, and the other based upon a mobile presentation. So the page title consists of 60 characters. The meta description, no matter how long you make the description on your page, will only report back the first 160 characters. So those are the ones that are most important to help describe the essence of a page. We'll see the examples here on this particular page with either block 1, which identifies those which are page titles, and block 2, which are meta descriptions. So search engines are used to help find users what they're looking for, and to be sure they list the right things, they're looking at their search term and the results in the search engine database for popularity, authority, relevance of your keywords back to the search term, trust, meaning sites that are not flagged as spam, or for that matter are referenced through links with other sites that gives it some level of authority, and the relative importance of this particular page in light of all of the other pages in response to the search term. These are the functions of the algorithm that Google and Bing use to determine which pages to present on a search engine results page. So once again, let's summarize. It's SEO is organic or natural optimization, involves optimizing the websites and the individual pages in the websites to achieve high rankings for certain selected keywords. We've used the term keyword. All right, so what is it? Is it only one word, or can it be a phrase? This phrase and word are used interchangeably when we use the term keyword. When you choose a keyword to use on your web page, what's the level of search volume that's associated with that keyword? What does that bring in from a competition perspective? And what's the likelihood that the use of that word would convert a user to go from the search engine result page to your site? In other words, to convert to your site. And if you get that contact or that connection, what's the value of that as a lead to a potential customer? There's a lot of thought that needs to go into keyword determination. Think about the words you would use to describe your business and about the questions or needs that your customers are trying to fulfill. And how would someone ask for what you're offering? Also, consider whether or not there are synonyms for this word. If there are, make sure they're included in your keyword list. There might even be misspellings, common misspellings, and it may be a way to bring somebody in who is into typos or frequently commits these errors. So let's make sure that we bring those folks in to the tent as well. The second step is to gather some data about your keywords. Look at your own website referral logs. See what terms your customers are actually using to find you now. Make sure they're in your keyword list. Then there are some excellent tools that are provided by search engine providers like Google and Bing, as well as some third-party tools like Trillion's Keyword Discovery Tool or Word Tracker, all of which can help you to analyze those keywords that you may plan to use and what are their relevance and what are the kinds of volumes and competition they may bring into bear. In optimizing for keywords, once you've selected those, we need to ensure the site contains content that targets them. Let's make that connection. If you're using a keyword, there needs to be supporting content. Content is the most important part of your website to create relevant, targeted keywords at your prospects. So remember, search engines can recognize content and implied meaning. That's why synonyms are so important. So let's look at your content on any given page. Does it provide information for your users? Does it engage them? And does it persuade them? So on page after page, I know this sounds like a big job, but once you get rolling on it, it's pretty straightforward. The keywords are useful, but let's put some more focus on how we use this to be more specific about each page. The title tag, use the keyword in the title and as close to the beginning as possible. But make sure that title is reflective of the page itself. The H1 header tag should also use the keyword, as much as possible other H tag or header tags associated with a page. Look at the body content. Use keywords as it makes sense in the context. And remember to also use those synonyms rather than just one specific version of a keyword. You should aim for at least 350 words of content on any page, but don't overdo it. Let's also understand that we're going to use graphics and illustrations. Make sure there's meta information in the alternate tags, attributes that are also keyword filled. Now, I mentioned links a few minutes ago. They're a vital part of how the internet works. The purpose of a link, it allows a user to go from one page to another. And search engines, mimicking your behavior, will follow these links. And the links should be used to validate the relevance and importance of your page. And it also sends signal of trust when they're coming from third-party sources. And finally, links help to validate the reference. Text links, by their very nature, make up the link that will help validate reference. If the destination web page has already used content to send a signal of relevance, the link simply validates that sync. How to build links? Well, let's create excellent, valuable content. Not only that your customers want to read when they come to your site, visitors to other sites may also want to read as well. Focus on being the best in your industry. Provide value to members of your community. And make sure that valuable content is themed around your keywords. There's another tactic you can use, and that is create tools and documents that others may want to use. PDF guides for an industry, a good example of this. Articles on a key issue within your industry. They will always be desirable content that others will want to link to. Create games. Think about that. Creating a game people want to play is a great way to generate links, but make sure the theme of the game is based on keywords for your website so that when others talk about it and link to the game, they're using your keywords. And finally, capitalize on software and widgets, extensions that generate links for a website. While search engine optimization for mobile is really no different underneath the hood for desktop, its presentation is often different. Think about the amount of space that is presented on a mobile screen versus a desktop. So we need to be able to identify the mobile-specific sitemaps that can use the same protocols with the addition of a mobile tag. This makes it more relevant from search engines to present what you've already designed for mobile use, more restricted, more navigational, and to be able to present your message in a mobile environment. Whatever you have on the desktop can also be used in mobile. There is this idea from a technology perspective that a website can adjust to whatever mobile device or device you want to present on. Yes, that's true. But there are some times that the load time on a mobile will be such that folks will bypass you. Literally, that takes too much time, let me go find something else. So always look at it from the perspective of how can I be more responsive to the limitations of size and space and time on a mobile device. So let's wrap up our conversation on search engine optimization with this idea of the question, is it search engine optimization, or is it search engine marketing, or is it both? look at it from this perspective. Search engine optimization is necessary for visibility of your web presence. This is through the metadata and the keywords, but make sure you've got content of interest and you've got those additional links for visibility and trustworthiness. Those things are done by your action on your website. Search engine marketing, on the other hand, is where you're placing advertising in one of multiple forms. It could be text, display, shopping ads, all of those kinds of things, for connecting your message with potential customers. And you need to convey that message in a way to protect. You need to convey your message in a way to attract your potential customers, but also through that you're tying in your SEO meta descriptions and keywords, as well as the content of your advertising. Finally, but not least, someone answers your ad. They click on your ad. You're taken to a landing page. There better be alignment of keywords that you use for your ad and content on the landing page, or you will see an immediate bounce. When they don't see something that connects to their expectation of the ad, they're out of there. So let's review quickly. We talked about how search engines work, how they deliver their results on a search engine results page. We've talked about effective keyword strategies for text and other content, and the importance of link building as an essential aspect of search engine optimization. I've also introduced to you the idea that there are some forms of specialized search, like mobile, that you need to take into account so that you can optimize for them and make sure that you have made a better result in your ranking. Finally, we wrapped up with this idea of SEO and SEM. Are they different? Are they in conflict? Or do they fit into the context of an overall digital marketing strategy?